There goes my hat. Hey, big guy. You want to ride in the Smoky Mobile? The Bandit? Take a spin in the Bandit? We gotta get my hat. I can't be losing my hat. Poor little hat out there dodging cars. He wore that thing on the railroad. Woo! My name is Ben Mclean. I was born in 1989, and I get married in 1 week. I got no superpowers without this hat.
Did you hit anything?
Oh, he's dead. To give you the quick version of my childhood that will set up the rest of my story, I have to point to the way my dad was raised. He grew up in a broken home. Parents got divorced going into high school. He had to choose between living with his mom or with his dad, and he ended up choosing living with his dad. And that shaped so much of the way I was raised. It really did. And it wasn't clear growing up, but looking back, it's maybe the biggest thing that shaped my childhood. So I grew up on a farm in the Dalles, Oregon. I had 6 brothers and sisters. There was 5 of us guys, 2 girls. We grew up out on this small farm in this kind of protected environment, protected from all those things that my dad grew up and went through. And it's just such a big part of who I am today. The craziest thing is my mom homeschooled all 7 of us kids. I've yet to wrap my head around how she pulled that off. It's unbelievable. She just homeschooled all these crazy redheads. The patience she had with us was amazing. She put so much into us. I just developed a really strong sense of friendship growing up. Friendships were so important to me. I think that came from growing up on that farm, being away from the public school setting, and having access to a lot of friends. I didn't feel like I had a lot of access to friends. And so when I did develop a friendship, it was always really important to me that stuck, and that carried through my whole life, and I've been blessed with some amazing friends. I mean, I'm here at my bachelor party with 15 amazing guys, and I can honestly say that I know each of them really pretty well, and they've all played a role in who I am. And to move my story along, I'm playing baseball in high school. I don't really know what I want to do with my life. I've never really had a vision like a lot of people do what they're going to do. I liked playing baseball, so that was working for that time. And I was developing a lot of social skills through being involved in high school sports. Turned 18, needed a job, went down to the unemployment office, applied for some jobs. My pitching coach was working at the unemployment office. He actually put in a really good word for me toward a state park ranger position that just opened up. So I worked as a park ranger for 7 seasons, and that really developed a lot of who I am as well. A love for the outdoors, working in the outdoors. I went off to college at Oregon State University. I had no idea what I wanted to study, so I went down the list of degrees in alphabetical order. I didn't make it past A. I found anthropology, and when I found anthropology, I didn't really know what it was. So I started reading about what anthropology was, the study of civilization, study of culture, study of people and their stories. It just sounded like the coolest thing in the world. I didn't even know you could pursue that. Studied anthropology for 4 years at OSU. Loved it. Loved the OSU lifestyle and college experience. I had some really solid friends there, and it was just a lot of fun. After college, I found myself in the same position where I didn't really know what to do. Anthropology was something that I had a passion for, but it was also a very demanding field as far as education. I wasn't really ready to re-up for 2 more years of a master's degree and then go on to a doctorate. So I was kind of treading water for a couple months, and I ended up going back to my hometown of the Dalles to work at the state park for another summer. I put together this idea of a bike trip, a bicycle tour, and it kind of grew out of a lot of just not knowing what to do and wanting to have something to tell people. Because I got that question a lot, like, now that you're out of college, what are you doing? I didn't have a very good answer. So I put together this bike tour, and I needed to make it just as crazy as I could, just to distract myself. So I ended up doing Crescent City, California, down to San Diego, over to Florida, up to New York, kind of a big U. Rode my bike for 4 months, ended up doing it on my own. A lot of nights spent in abandoned houses and junkyards and backyards and couches, and I was amazed by the distinct cultures we have in every single state. I'd cross state lines, and I would get to breathe in this whole different culture, and it was really amazing. And so many people opened the doors to me, and I guess I wasn't very intimidating, a scrawny little redhead kid riding a bike. Yeah, maybe a lot of people probably felt bad for me, but a lot of people put me up. Did that for 4 months, ended up in New York, and decided to stay in New York for 3 months. I was able to make money and find my own apartment, got to experience the most interesting place on the earth. Very different, just amazing. The energy, it's the only place I went that almost every stereotype I found to be nearly true. Everything I'd heard about New York it didn't feel like it was that much of an exaggeration. The place is really something. I think that the heart of this story has to be a love story, I guess, because what better time to tell it than at a bachelor party, getting married in a week to Laura Elizabeth Fisk. I met Laura right before leaving for my bike ride. I remember we was a double date. We got set up on by our friends Tim and Julie. Neither of us were interested. We didn't want to pursue a relationship, and we just had persistent friends. They insisted that we go on a double date with them. To placate them, we finally ended up doing it after 3 failed attempts. It was kind of amazing. We ended up hitting it off. That first date, we just shared some conversation, and I got to see her in a really comfortable light with her friends and saw how she interacted with her friends. There was just something about her I couldn't shake. I couldn't quite wrap my head around. I knew I didn't want to be in a relationship because I was leaving for this trip and I didn't know how long I was going to be gone. But I remember going back to work after that first date, and I just couldn't stop thinking about this girl. 2 days after meeting her, I write her this long Facebook message. I just told her that I thought she was really great, basically. I remember I said, I have some business in Portland next week. Like, business. I was delivering a electric wheelchair to a family friend. That was business. And I just drummed up an excuse to see her again. And I figured if I came on strong quick, she would just get scared and I could go back to focusing on my bike trip, which was at the time what I wanted to do. And so I sent her this message off, and she wrote back and said that she would like to grab dinner with me. I'd asked her if I could stop by and take her out to dinner. That was almost 4 years ago, and it's been really good. She ended up supporting me and sticking with me through this bike trip. I left and was gone for 7 months, and we stayed in close contact through technology and through postcards. We had started dating right before leaving. She was really important for me on that trip. It's hard to say how the trip would have been different. It's hard to say if I would have kept going, because all of a sudden I had something to prove. I didn't want this new relationship to see me in a negative light, see me in the light of someone who starts things and doesn't finish things. So it was important to me to finish, to kind of send a message to her about the type of man I was. She was really important to that trip, and I can never thank her enough for the support she gave me during that time. Anyway, jump ahead. I get back from New York. Laura graduates from Seattle Pacific University. She moves back to Portland. She gets a job being a nurse at Milwaukee Providence. Again, faced with that same question of what should I be doing with my life? I'm with this amazing girl who knows what she's doing. She's doing amazing things. She's living out a passion and a desire she's had from a very early age. And I'm kind of treading water at this point, not really knowing what to do. To be honest, like, my friend group and Laura both are the ones that are responsible most for me ending up applying for a master's degree, and now I'm 1 year into a communication master's at Portland State University, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm just so grateful because I would have never gone back to school if I didn't have somebody in my life who was pushing me, challenging me. And so, long story short, through the encouragement and support of Laura and my friend group, Laura's parents, my parents, I'm back in school now, and I applied for an internship with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. Somehow I got it. It's a 1-year internship, basically doing PR for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I get to go out to fisheries, I get to go out to wildlife reserves, and I basically get the privilege of telling the Oregon public what's going on in our environment as far as our native species and how they're affecting it for the better or for the worse. And it's just such a cool opportunity. In a really strange way, I'm looking back and all of the weird things I did in my life all came together for this interview. It was so clear. my experience at Oregon State Parks, my pursuit of anthropology, all these things that seem disconnected, connected, and I'm just so grateful for all these experiences I've had that I didn't see connected, but that really shape where I am right now. So I'm looking into starting this year-long internship. My hope is that I will graduate and start to work for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. I see the future so bright right now. I'm getting married in a week to a woman who just has so much to give. She loves people so much. She's dedicated her life to helping people, getting people off the bed, into the shower, humble services, and she's chose to do that as a career. It's just amazing to me. And so I get to be a part of that as her buddy, I guess, as her husband. It feels so strange to say. In a week we get married. Yeah, we get married in a week, and things are bright. And I have a lot of people to thank for that. A lot of people. I think we all have a responsibility to try to write really amazing stories with our lives, and I'm pretty excited about what's coming up. It's gonna be so good. Thanks for listening. That's my story. I gotta get back to the bachelor party. My bachelor ride. Oh, it's so low. I don't know how people on the daily drive something like this. I feel like I'm on a luge. Can't get it started. There we go. Ooh, some of the sounds that this thing can generate. It's pretty wild. That's not the right gear. We're gonna go for that one. There we go. Oh, he's gonna see that on the video.